We're back, and House of the Dragon Season 2 finally wrapped up.
Is that what we're doing?
And today, yeah, because you thought we were doing it last week when we did The Boys. So this week we're doing House of the Dragon Season 2. Our thoughts on the season finale and just a quick recap on events. And then at the very end, when you stick with us, we'll talk theories for the final Season 3, where we think it's going. And if you stay all the way to the end, we have something really special for you. So stay to the end to hear how you can win the $50 gift card we are giving away this month and other cool things we got going on. So my name's Chris. I'm one of the hosts. As always, with me, I have
Liam Weisner.
And
glad you found it again.
We are happy you found it again. We're diving into House of the Dragon season finale for Season 2. What were your initial thoughts?
Initial thoughts as in the season finale or the whole thing?
Let's hear the whole thing. How did you feel Season 2 went?
Well, some parts were a little dry with Damon.
Yeah, we'll get there. Oh yeah. Let us know in the comments, what did you think of the use of the character of Damon in Season 2?
So Damon is a big character for me.
Yeah, you love Matt Smith.
Yeah, because Doctor Who. Right? Yeah. One of the best doctors there ever was. One of. Don't come at me.
They will.
I know they will. But I very much enjoyed the ride. I enjoyed the struggles that they went through, specifically the Queen.
Yeah.
Sad about the Queen that never was.
One of my favorite Dragon and Dragon Rider combos in the series.
And they're gone.
But it had to happen, right? Because it's the Dance of Dragons, and Dragon War is like atomic bombs going off. So anyway,
I very much enjoy, guess it's almost like the equality aspect of allowing anyone who has the noble blood to eventually get to the dragon stuff.
Yeah.
Again, deep into spoilers, we're always going to go there.
Oh yeah, we're definitely spoilers. And from here on out, spoiler territory if you have not seen the season.
But I very much like the equality of that. As you know, I've been watching a lot of Snowpiercer lately, and that's the main theme of that, is going from like a feudal system to equality and democracy the best that it can.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's what I'm picking up on here, probably from influence from that show. That's one of the shows that I look forward to every week.
Yeah, we could definitely review that too. Let us know. Have you guys watched Snowpiercer yet? Not the movie, but the series that they created on it. It's on Prime, correct?
Yeah, it's like AMC, one of the sub-channels.
Oh, so you might have to have a subscription to get it.
Yeah.
Got it.
But very much worth it, in my opinion. I didn't even know it existed until a month ago.
Yeah. No, you immediately sent me the trailer, and I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. But
really freaking cool. But the character growth, her actual dark-haired son, how he's fighting his inner battles of not feeling adequate to fill the role that he was born into because of his mother's misdeeds. And so he's constantly battling with that and struggling with the aspects of other people who are perceived as lower class skipping him. And he's fighting that too, but I give him a whole lot of credit because he's restraining himself quite a bit. Yeah, he has his outbursts and his temper about it, but he's still being reasonably professional in his duties. Like, he's not letting it affect his judgment when it comes to the big plays or big calls. And so that's why I'm enjoying watching his journey as well.
Yeah, I think that's good observations for sure. Jace, who is the last dark-haired son that we still see, they still have the younger one who is, I think it's Joffrey. Let us know in the comments what's the youngest son's name, which they took. He's off screen now, and so he's. I thought it was really cool because in the books they don't really talk about them ever acknowledging that they're bastards, right? The legitimacy of their father. And so it's cool that in the show they take these liberties to go deeper. Like, there's the one scene earlier in the season where Jace is talking to his cousin, who's basically his betrothed, right? He's supposed to marry her. And so
that's just so weird to me.
That's just the way they do that, keeping that dragon blood strong. Wonder why they're all like having deformed babies and all these crazy shit. But anyway.
And why you end up with people like Damon.
And there's a theory That and Screen Crush, Rhaenyra and Screen Crush talks about it, where the reason that they have this Targaryen madness and that they do have like they're crazy, right? They're psychopaths and like unhinged. A lot of that, and then also the sociopath nature where they don't really care. A lot of that comes from like the deep inbreeding that they have. Like a lot of the issues that have in the Targaryen and Valyrian line come from that inbreeding. But anyway,
would that be psychopathy?
I don't even know what that word means, so sure. I'm just, again, that wasn't my theory. I was sharing, giving some credit where
the nature of psychopaths, essentially.
But yeah, a lot of inbreeding, right? And so anyway, they're sitting there, and he voices it for the first time ever, like publicly that we hear, where he's like, she says to him, your uncle, or my uncle, not your father. Because she knows it's not his father, right? And it is her uncle because her mother and they're brothers, right? Her mother and his supposed father, brother and sister, both supposedly dead now. And so when that exchange happens, they acknowledge the fact that he truly knows he's a bastard. Everyone knows it, and they're acknowledging it. But it really came to a head, I think, here when he challenges his mom, like walks into her room, her study, and it's just like, did you even think twice before you laid with this dude what was going to happen to us? And she was just like, oh shit, like we really got to talk about this now. But yeah, still really composed, not throwing a tantrum, just like for someone, I think at this point in the story, he's like 15, 16 years old. And he's like, to be able to like harness and try to navigate those emotions and harness that rage and keep it in, pretty cool. Pretty cool character growth, absolutely. Damon's character is probably one of the funnest characters usually, because he's just, a wild card. He does what he wants. He's the rogue prince.
Not this time.
I was going to say, they destroyed that in season 2.
They kneecapped him.
And in the book, it just says that he spends all his time at Harrenhal and he's super bored, right? He's super bored waiting to fight. Like he's been put on the bench and he's really upset about it, right? He's like a seasoned warrior, doesn't want to be there. But the way they put him on the bench and kept him at Harrenhal with these crazy visions every episode.
Because of that female Merlin chick.
Well, Rivers, her name's Rivers. I'm trying to think of her first name right now. It's not coming to me. Alice Rivers. She's a huge component. Not only what's happening now, but even as the story continues. And yes, her background, her lineage is we don't know where she's from, we don't know who she worships, we don't know where her magic comes from. People call her a witch, people call her a wet nurse, people call her, all different things. And clearly from what we can see, she has a deep connection to the old gods, the children of the forest, the green men, which is what I believe that stag-looking creature is that walks through the weirwoods before he touches the tree and gets his vision. You see it for a half a second, almost like a horror effect. I believe that was one of the green men, which is what was here in this world before the man really settled it. Yeah, so it's old gods back into that's what she says to him. There are things here that are even more ancient than the wind or whatever she says, or whatever. I forget the exact words. So I think that's what's going on there. She's going to be a huge component, but I don't think that they played that character and her visions and her ability to do what she does. It came to a really cool conclusion, the final vision, Damon getting the Song of Ice and Fire, learning the prophecy, all of that, awesome. I thought that was cool, because it gives him a reason why he bends the knee. Otherwise, why would he? He has an army, he could just overthrow her. He doesn't really care about her that much, he just, whatever. So that part was cool, but I didn't think we needed everything leading up to that, and it really was a waste of his character. There could have been way more cooler battles and things he could have done in the Riverlands with the people, rather than just sitting around waiting for a man to die, which is not his style, right? So yeah, complete waste of one of the beloved characters for this season for sure. What do you guys think?
Let's see. So for one of the other characters that I really enjoyed, that I'm not sure if he's gonna be a big character or not, is the young dude who had his little tiff with Damon, and he's like, look, I'm young, but
you're talking about
in the wisdom.
Oscar Tully, the new paramount of the river, the river.
Yes.
Yeah. He's in charge of all the houses inside the river.
He's just a kid, yeah.
Yeah, but his house is so well respected, they listen to him anyway.
Well, they're getting to that point.
Yeah, he did a complete 180 in it. So he went from the first time you meet him being this fragile little I don't know what to do. Are you really asking me to kill my granddad and all this? And like the next time you see him, he basically does like a 180. He's like takes charge, steps up like a man. It was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, that's what I very much liked about it. And at the same time, he did not hold back against Damon at all. So it still served the purpose. He got to get his little gut punch and twist the dagger a little bit into Damon's ego. But he also was able to get things done in what I believe to be a pretty fair way based on his position and what's going on.
Yeah, I would agree.
I want to see more from him.
Yeah, so we got unfortunately we got to wait 2 years till the next season.
Bullshit, no.
Yeah.
They're lying.
No. 2026, they're saying. And the production value to bring dragons and all of that to the world is insane. And it takes time and money, man. So we're going to have to wait till 2026 to see season 3. I think there'll be plenty of stuff to keep us busy between now and then we'll just get excited when it gets up here again. But yeah, Oscar Tully, great character. I thought that the way they brought his character like to a man, to a leader, was pretty cool. Like we were just talking about, definitely gave me vibes of the little Mormont girl from Bear Island in Game of Thrones, when the King of the North is like basically they're trying to like build an army to fight Ramsay Snow. That's the Battle of the Bastards, one of the best episodes in the whole freaking show series. They go to Bear Island to recruit the Mormonts, and there's this like young girl sitting in the leadership's role, and then all of a sudden she speaks, and you're like, oh shit, she'll hurt me, and that's kind of cool. So they kind of honored that in this series as well. But,
you think that's what it was?
No, I don't know if it was an honor, but it was definitely for me. It was like a little bit of a nod to it because it recalled that for me. So therefore, I had that. One thing we do need to talk about is the fact that Aemond is coming unhinged. He thought he was invincible. He thought he had the biggest, baddest dragon in the land. He thought there was no one who could touch him. He thought he was going to win this war, basically single-handedly, and then realizes, oh shit, doesn't mean anything. She just got 3 more dragons, and they're not babies. They're big, they're fighting, they're battle-ready. Some of them are even battle-tested, like Vhagar. And so Vhagar and Silverwing, I don't think Silverwing actually ever saw combat because it was the Queen's dragon, but Vhagar definitely did. And so like he was like scared, and because he got scared and realized he was not invincible, threw a temper tantrum and burnt the whole city. So that's interesting to see. He got bullied. He was basically manipulated and twisted by his cousins and older brother most of his life, treated like a second great being amongst even the elite, and then finally gets the dragon that sets him apart and lets him be powerful, and then he just realizes that, oh shit, that's not enough.
I feel like he is in there to show us a hint of the possibility of the danger that Damon could be. I think that's why he is so prevalent in the story for this. That's why I personally feel for that.
There are a lot of parallels between Damon and Aemond for sure. A lot. I think that's also why in one of the the hallucinations he's having at Harrenhal earlier in the season, he thinks he's chasing Aemond, but when he turns around, it's just Damon with the eye patch, right? So they're always drawing those parallels between the two characters. Damon could have made a couple of different decisions and been the guy who killed his brother and became king too. So, absolutely.
Yeah, but he kind of failed killing his brother.
Who?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, because Damon never tried to kill his brother. He was surprisingly loyal and loving to his brother in the series.
That's another parallel I just realized, because if his name's Aemon, throw a D in front of it.
Oh, that's on purpose. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's on purpose.
I just realized that when you were saying that, because I don't pay attention to names.
Yeah. Well, it's hard because everyone's named Aegon.
And so when you just said that, I was like, and as we're having the conversation about it, I was like, damn, that's literally like a slap in the face.
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing on the point of, the dragons bolstering their ranks more. Now we're dealing with, and you brought it up earlier when you brought up Jace and how he's kind of dealing with the fact that now the Dragonseeds basically wipe out any kind of legitimacy for him to have on the throne, because now he's just another bastard child too. Although, his mom is Rhaenyra, so he does have a little bit more claim to the throne, let's be honest. Direct lineage right there. And she's like the sitting queen right now, so it makes sense. But anyway, I bring that up because the drastic opposite side of that is Ulf White, right? Who is a bastard, has been lowborn his whole life, and now actually has power. Almost one of the most powerful older dragons. What do you think?
Sorry, I just have this stuck in my head. So, I just thought of the joke. What's the difference between Aemond and his brother that he failed to kill?
Talking about Aegon?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, the one that's all burnt up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Toasty.
What's the difference between them? One doesn't have a blown up Vienna sausage.
Fucked it up.
I don't know.
They're both missing the D.
I knew you were going there somewhere. I'm like, where would Liam go with this? Where would Liam, something to do with the blown up sausage scene? Like, where are we going? Anyway, I was close.
Yeah,
I was on the right track.
You were.
All right. That was probably, one of the more pattern interrupting scenes of the show where everybody's just like, I can't fuck. My dick is blown up. I was like, oh shit. Popped like a sausage on a skewer or whatever he said. I was like, oof. And then everyone's dropping memes of like exploded hot dogs.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Ulf the White, right? He's already starting to abuse the power he just got. He's sitting in the queen's chair, throwing his feet up, being disrespectful, just fucking eating all the food.
Entitlement.
Yeah, instantly, right? And
No, he had the desire for the entitlement the whole time. He got it in the bar.
right, but the minute he got that dragon, it was like done. Switched it on.
Was that right after he got it or right before? Like when they first showed up?
No, because right before
No,
he's
okay.
scared.
Yeah.
He almost doesn't even want to go. And everyone's calling him out like, you've been talking about how you're an heir to the Targaryens this whole time. Why wouldn't you go claim a dragon? What are you, liar? Like a liar? So he basically has to go, otherwise he's going to be perceived as a liar. And he's scared the whole time. And if it wasn't for Silverwing choosing him, and him realizing, oh crap, I'm not going to get eaten, and then finally smiling, I don't think he ever would. Because he trips on Silverwing, basically. Like, he like trips into that situation.
Yeah.
So,
One might call that fate.
yeah, where Hugh Hammer basically like screams at Thor, and he's just like, oh, I like this guy. He's got balls.
So he is half brother of Damon,
Supposedly, yes. Supposedly he'd be...
based on what he was saying.
Correct. He would be a half brother of Damon and Viserys. Correct.
Okay. Do they know that?
No. No one knows that. Elf's been sharing that with the Lowborns. No one in the Highborns know that.
Okay.
And according to the Maesters and the scrolls and everything that they would have to study from, there were, like that, his father, which was Balon the Brave, wouldn't have had any other children. Like, he was pretty loyal. So, that's what the Maesters say. Who knows? History is written by the winner.
Yes. And that brings me to the guy who captains the queen that never was.
For sure with that, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he's both Corlys Valerian the Sea Snake, yeah. You can call him either one.
All right. So his issues with his kids.
He's only got bastards left. His trueborns are all dead.
Yes, I thought that was quite interesting. Like, do these queens and stuff not give a shit about this, or?
Oh, they do. Oh, they do. Because here's the thing, the TV series, I think, because Rhaenys was just a beloved character, I think, and she was like the representation of like level-headedness inside of the council, I think they paid her homage before she left by acknowledging that she knew. But in the books, I think it says something more along the lines of, and I'm trying to remember, because I just recently finished, and that was earlier in the book, something along the lines of like her passion was that of a Targaryen, right? Like she had the fury of a Targaryen, and that if she were to ever know, then she would unleash that fury. And so inside of the world of Westeros, where they're from, inside of Driftmark, where they actually are, they were always supposed to be the bastard sons of Laenor, his son, not his. So the son, was promiscuous in the shipyards as a younger guy, ended up bastarding these children. But then, obviously, later on in life, it comes to fruition that it's not the case. So there's always a hint that it isn't, but because of Laenor being gay, not sleeping with women. But yeah.
Gotcha.
So we got a bunch more dragons coming in. So season 3, we'll finish up real quick with that and then we'll go into season 3. But, Aemond loses his shit, right? And then basically realizes that he needs dragons. And so tries to recruit his sister, is trying to find ways to like bolster his ranks. His sister won't help. She's having, has these premonitions, has these dreams of the future, knows what he did, calls him on his shit. I think one of the best lines is she's like, I know what you did. He's like, I'll have you killed. And she's like, or he said, you're gonna die. And he said, I'll have you killed. She goes, that's not gonna change anything. It's like, damn, that was cold. Like, I don't give a shit. It ain't gonna change what I just said. And then she obviously not gonna. Dreamfire, which is her dragon, is old and older and like would be able to actually go to battle and do something.
But she doesn't want
But she will not fly it into battle. No.
I think that's kind of cool that they're attempting to save her innocence, but being someone who watches a lot of movies and TV, we know that's just setting us up for the big drop of when it actually happens, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
I've never read the book, so
her character now, all I will say, because I don't want to spoil it for you, which I did last episode and I felt bad, so I'm trying my best not to do that now. All I will say is this: her character in the book and her character in the show have taken a drastic turn this season. Like, who she is and what she's doing now doesn't exist in the books. The books says something very different. Yeah, so Aemon's scared. He's not really able to get any more dragons on his side. Kristen Cole and the rest of them are marching to Harrenhal. We have heard very little, like we've heard rumors of Alicent and Viserys' youngest son, who is Daemon, who has a dragon, who actually is going to be part of this, is old enough to fight. And I don't want to obviously go too deep into season 3 just yet, but I think that that's a pretty good recap on season 2. Anything you wanted to add?
No, I'm just annoyed about the fact that it's just gonna be 2 fucking years.
Yeah, it's gonna be 2026 from what everything I've seen.
Well, let's see. To be fair, this year is almost over. Kinda.
Damn, that's right. Halfway at least.
It's August.
Yeah. So more than halfway.
Yeah.
6 months is halfway. Yeah.
So we are getting closer to 2025. So that's really, and if it was to start in January, that's really just a year and a few months.
Yeah. I'm sure they're already working on it.
So that's not as bad as I originally thought.
Yeah. Because there's going to be, a lot more dragons. Mm-hmm. We have huge battles still ahead of us. One with like mass scale, and then other dragon type battles. All of them have dragons, but one mass scale battle that we have ahead of us still. And season 3 is going to be really where I think things really start to come to a head, and we start to see full spoilers, guys. This is theories based on the books now.
The whole thing has been spoilers.
No, I'm saying, like, if you want to go into season 3 fresh, seeing it as it happens with no theories inside of your head, log off. We will see you on the next one. Thank you guys for being here. But if you want to know the theories that I believe, or just jump to the last about 5 minutes of the episode and you get to hear some cool stuff. But right now I'm going to share with you some theories that I think are going to happen in season 3, and I don't want anybody to have some thoughts in their heads they may not want. So right now at the end of season 2, we have some pretty key things happening. One, we have Rhaenyra has just came across Sheep Stealer, which is, they took Nettle's role from the book. She's now going to be with Sheep Stealer. So we actually have another dragon being added into the Blacks on top of the 3 we have now with Adam, Oath, and Hugh. So another big dragon. And we also have her now, because she's joining the ranks, there's no one protecting those little boys that she was supposed to be in charge of, right? And so they're being shipped off to Essos. We haven't seen that yet. We haven't seen them actually make it anywhere safe. We haven't seen her make it to the Blacks yet. So, and we have an entire fleet of warships coming over from Essos to unclog the gullet where we have the Valyrian fleet currently held up, which is where Corlys Velaryon is heading with his eldest or youngest bastard and their new ship. And so you got all of this stuff coming together to a head here in season 3, and probably relatively early. I would think it would be like episode 2 or 3 where we see some pretty epic things that have been built up come together.
I forgot about that fight scene between him and the woman, the pirate.
The mud wrestling?
Queen. Yeah.
Yeah, mud wrestling.
That was wild.
Now you must sleep with my wives.
Death by snoo.
Right.
That's what I was getting. I was getting that vibe the whole time.
He thought that. He's like, how many wives do you have? He's like, how many times am I going to have to do this? But yeah, so, you got a lot of stuff coming to heads. You've got, again, the Blacks are stacked out with dragons. So now they're not just going to sit still. Like, they're going to do something with all those dragons. Aegon is no longer in King's Landing. Alicent just offered King's Landing up to Rhaenyra on a silver platter as long as she doesn't destroy the city and kill everybody. And so, season 3, we clearly are going to see
Chaos. Absolute fucking.
We're going to see the fruition, or what happens. Does Alicent honor that? Does she really give the castle over? Does Rhaenyra take it by force? Does she pull a Daenerys and fly in and just decide to burn everything anyway, just randomly, because she's a Targaryen? What are we going to see? How many people are, how many of the bastards are going to make it out? How many of them are actually going to, get into the fight, or what is the future of them, right? They just basically got handed atomic power. They got handed, knighthood and all this stuff for the first time in their lives, and what are they going to do with it? Are they going to stay true to their oaths? Are they going to stay loyal? Are they going to try to do their own thing? Are they going to, who's to say they don't think they need to be king, right? They've got Targaryen blood too. So it's going to be really interesting to see where season 3 goes. I'm excited. We still have to see tons of hints to the God's Eye, the Battle at the God's Eye. She tells him, you're going to die at the God's Eye. We see you drowning at the God's Eye. Both dreamers that we see in the season, Alice Rivers and Helena, the queen, the younger one, are talking to their respective people. I don't know what word I'm trying to use there. Anyway, brain fart, telling them about, their future and the God's Eye. So clearly we have the Battle of the God's Eye coming up. I don't think we'll see that until either the finale of season 3 or season 4, just because the consequences of that ultimately would lead to too much right now, I think.
So you mentioned you didn't know whether the bastards were going to stay true, maybe overstep their status. It could go either way because, okay, for example, someone who has not made a lot of money in their life, the moment they get money, they kind of blow it, right? Like
That's why a lot of winners become bankrupt, right? Yep.
Same concept there. So we know in the professional and personal development world that you have to raise yourself before you can truly be at the level you need to be.
You got to grow into that person.
Yes, and they're kind of skipping that piece.
Yeah.
But are they going to grow into the person, or are they going to reject it, like you said, and kind of do the stupid thing? Also,
you got to remember too, one thing that I'm keeping in mind too, coming from like a war standpoint, is that, almost none of the knights and soldiers in the realm right now have actually seen combat. Like the war at Rook's Rest, what's happening now in the Riverlands, the sacking that Kristen Cole and those guys did, like that was like the first time a lot of them have ever seen combat. They're green.
Everyone is, because they've essentially been at peace for majority.
Over 60 years. The last 2 reigns, Jaehaerys and then Viserys, both after him, were all reigns of peace. And so for a very long time, for most of their lives, they haven't known it. And so what I think might happen too is, you have a dragon and you have knighthood and you have, a little bit more clout with you, right? You have a little more status, but is it worth fire, blood, and death, right? Because that's the other half of that equation. Rhaenyra is saying, like, hey, you can have all these things. You can be a Targaryen, you can have the dragon, you can be royalty, you can have the wealth. But in order to have that, you have to take that dragon and you have to fly it into combat. And I don't know, like, Ulf's a freaking coward, right? Like, how often and how effective will these people actually be with these dragons when the time comes?
Well, that's where I think your experience will come a little better in handy, because I know from stories from friends, because I never saw combat or anything like that, some of the people that they thought were the biggest chicken shits turned out to be the ones that did the most.
Yeah, it's true. You can't really judge a man until his back's against the wall, and then you just judge him by this character. Some of the people that talk the biggest game are the biggest cowards there are. And then, like you said, vice versa. But yeah, I think this is going to be really interesting to see where season 3 is going. Let us know if you guys are excited about season 3. What are you most excited about for the upcoming season? And what was your thoughts on season 2?
And what do they win?
Yeah, so
what they gotta do.
Appreciate you guys making it all the way to the end of the episode. We really appreciate you guys viewing it. If you're not subscribed to the channel already, please make sure you go ahead and do so and hit that like button. Let us know you're enjoying our content. And by doing that, those are the first 2 steps to entering into winning the Amazon $50 gift card for the month of August. So if you do those 2 things, go ahead and share this video with someone who also loves House of the Dragons. Let us know in the comments that you did it, and that's all we're asking. So again, subscribe and like, which I'm guessing you've already done by now, and then comment below who you shared this video with who is also a House of the Dragons fanatic or just a fan. And we will enter you in for a $50 gift card that will be drawn the very first week of September live here on the channel. And that is what we're giving away here for the month of August. Anything you want to add?
Don't let your weenie burst.
See you guys in the next one.